All right. So we had our fifth practice yesterday. Third straight practice in half pack shells, as we call it. Today is a recovery day. It's gone well. You know, the first 2 days, we were blessed with some really kind weather. And the last three, we've been getting used to, you know, the intensity of the heat and the humidity. And those have been good things for our guys. You know, I think we're way ahead just from an install standpoint from where we were a year ago at this time, which has been nice to see. You know, not having spring ball, as you guys know, and all the things that went into last year. So, you know, I think the ability for the staff to put a little more heat on these guys in practice with a little more mental challenge, I guess you would say, having more in has been good to see. The guys that have played a lot of football have risen to the occasion. We're seeing, as you would expect, some of the newer players, you know, a little more inconsistent, but been very pleased with the attitude, the effort. You know, I've talked a lot about the chemistry of this team. That's very obvious, watching them coach each other on the field and pick each other up. Back and forth, offense, defense is always very competitive in training camp. And the fun part about this team is when they get off the field, how they're helping each other. You see Derek Pitts and you know, the receiving court, Devin Carter and him talking. You know, you'll see Grant Gibson talking with the nose guards. You'll see Daniel Joseph and Corey and Savion talking with our offensive tackles, and not just talking, but talking football about what they're doing and how they're doing it and ways they can get better. So really enjoyed that part of camp. Got a lot of work to do, a lot of things we need to clean up. This is an important 4-day stretch coming up. First day of full pads is tomorrow. We'll be working our short yardage packages tomorrow, and then a bunch of red zone work the day after that, and then get on our end to half, end of game 2-minute offense and defense in that Friday, and then Saturday will be our first live full tilt scrimmage. So this is an important 4-day window coming up because we start school next Monday, a week from yesterday. So this is really our last week without academics involved, so to get the rest of our stuff in.
Schnicker.
Dave, in talking with Trent Penix last week about him kind of swapping to and adjusting to that combined H-back tight end role, he mentioned that him and Coach Goebel, in preparing him, have looked at Jay Sam's film, and he mentioned that he's spoken with Jay Sam. How cool is that for you to see kind of a player who was here be able to help somebody like that in preparing for a similar role?
Yeah, I didn't even know that's happened. So it's very kind of Jalen Samuels to reach back and do that with a player. And our guys are phenomenal about stuff like that. I know the D linemen and the offensive linemen talk a lot. You know, I've been a part of witnessing that. Naheem's been back a lot and talked to guys. And I think that the alumni in general, even guys that didn't play in my tenure that come back, they're really good with our guys. I mean, Dwayne Washington was at practice. Haven't had Torrey at practice, but he's been around our program a lot. And those guys just do a great job giving back. I think they not only they love this place, but they like, you know, building their legacy, I guess, through teaching, you know, younger players below them and helping them become the better version of themselves. And it's fun to watch as a coach.
What is it about Trent that you think makes him ideally suited for that role?
Well, you know, he's a big kid. He's 230 pounds. He's got really good speed. He does have great ball skills. You know, he played a lot of receiver in high school. And so he's just got a unique blend of size, agility, and ball skills. We just got to keep him on the field. He's had a lot of, I guess you'd call minor injuries throughout his career that have never allowed him to be a sustained part of our packages on offense. You know, whether it's a hamstring or a wrist or a shoulder or whatever, nothing major. But as a coach, it's, you know, about having the same guy with you every day so you can continually give him the same stuff and build off of it. And we're hoping that he can get to be one of those guys that we can count on week to week.
Corey. Coach, when you look at this offensive line, obviously you have several guys that come back from last year and two guys that were, now going into their third year as starters in Akim and Grant. But along this offensive line, how have those battles looked so far, and how confident are you in that unit going into the season?
Yeah, I mean, it's been fun watching the the competition. I think Chandler Zavala and Derek Eason are two guys that both bring a lot to the table at the guard position for us. We're excited about Bryson Spees and Tim McKay, who's back from injury from last year, and what they're showing. Bryson has played, as you guys know, tackle and guard on right and left side, so he gives us a lot of versatility, and he's worked hard to get his mass up to he's 315 pounds now. So, it's been fun seeing those guys. This is going to be a big week for these competitions because we start tackling and seeing plays finish. And so it'll be fun to watch that part of this progress.
I wanted to ask you as well, where did things stand with Emeka Emezi at this point? I know he was not there for the first practice, but where is he at now at this point in terms of returning?
He's close. Obviously we want to be smart with him, and we got to get him to the opening game. Emeka's worst enemy is his own work ethic. Sometimes he just goes hard, and you can re-injure yourself in that scenario. So we just have to really be patient with him. He's working, he's out of practice, he's watching, but I would say he's probably a week or two from being released into what everyone's doing. Just got to kind of day by day with him and understand it's a marathon, not a sprint. And we're talking about getting him back for the season because he was out for quite a while.
Thank you.
Yep.
David.
Hey, Coach. Can you talk a little bit about Henry Trevathan and the relationship you have with him, and particularly when you first got this job, sort of how he helped you in recruiting and just kind of learning this state?
Yeah, he's one of the few people here that's been with me the whole time, and I can't say enough about him, not just in the job that he does with high school coaches and with young men in our program, because he oversees our walk-on program and does a great job with that, helping our parents and all of our signees with the admissions steps and things that go into it. But he's got an incredible history in our state. His dad, as y'all know, has great tradition in our state as well. His name is synonymous with a lot of people smiling that know him. There's people that played for his dad, people that played for Henry, people that coached with his dad, people that coached with Henry. And so been really a great experience having him on our staff, and his ties go very deep. Him and Bobby Purcell were very, very close friends, and so they know a lot of the same people. And it's nice when you work with someone that nobody can say a bad word about, and Henry's one of those people. I just think he's first class and does a really good job with the high school coaches in the state, and that's why I hired him. I came in here, as you guys know, from the Midwest, and I needed to make relationships and build bridges with people, and I needed someone that they trusted to help me and guide me. Hey, these are the coaches that you need to get in with, and you need to talk to, and you need to help and learn about and spend time with, and so it's been invaluable. And he continues to just crush it. I think every place I go, the high school coaches thank me for having Henry on my staff, because he keeps them in the loop on what we're doing.
Thanks, Coach.
Aaron Beard.
Hey, Dave. When you have a 4-win season like you guys had in 2019, there's no shortage of motivation and lessons to be learned from what went wrong. But for most of what you guys have done in your tenure has kind of been this steady program building over time, and 9-win seasons now, and an 8-win season. Is there more to learn for a team from success than there is from setbacks?
I think you learn from both. I think the one thing that we try to do in our program is to use the past as teachable moments. You want to repeat success, you want to eliminate failure. And so you got to constantly study those things, and not to, pour salt in a wound, but to learn from it, and to point out to people that need to improve and how can we help them improve. And sometimes it's me that needs to improve, and so we have to have ownership and all those things. And, I think there's a little bit more motivation maybe behind losing, just it hurts so much. I think that digs on these guys and they don't want to feel that. But I do think in winning or studying winners, there's a lot of things you can take out of that as well.
Jonas.
Coach, hope all is well. You mentioned that class starts next Monday for your guys. Obviously, a different set of circumstances this offseason, nothing like it was last offseason. But there is still a threat out there. Have you talked to your guys, or do you plan on talking to your guys about, hey, let's not get relaxed, let's not get too comfortable. We don't want guys missing games. We don't want guys spread anything, just because it is a little bit less restrictions this year.
Yeah, I've talked a lot about it. Last year we were very good here from a COVID numbers standpoint until the student body showed up, and not to blame them. It's just what happens when you put 30,000 young people on a college campus. You're going to have a lot of germs brought in, and people are going to get sick, And so we spent a lot of time discussing that. And even if COVID wasn't here, we would be discussing that, because we don't want guys missing for other things, colds and variety of other things you can get. I'm very hopeful that we learned our lesson from watching that horrible movie last year when it went down, and I told them I don't want to watch it again. And so, there's been a lot of education here. There's been a lot of discussion. There's been a lot of conversation, and we're at a very good place when you talk about vaccination rates and all those things with our program. So it's really a small group that's, I guess you would say, in the unprotected area of our team. And I'm daily, unfortunately, still talking about that with these guys, because I don't want to watch that. I don't want to watch a kid that's completely healthy, that's worked so hard, get contact traced out because he was in class with somebody that was coughing on him, or, as a roommate that's not vaccinated, or whatever it might be. So we spent a lot of time on that, Jonas, and, it's all we can do is give them the best advice we can, and ask them, like they did a year ago here, we kind of bubbleized this place, I guess you'd say, is learn from the past and do the best we can to not repeat the things that put us in tough spots. We had to delay our season, as you know. We had to move our opener a year ago, and obviously don't want to do that again.
And as a quick follow-up, are you having daily talks still with the medical staff, or are all the coaches at NC State still having daily updates and reports to the medical staff?
Well, whenever there's updates, we get them. We meet with the medical staff every day about our team, and that could be a part of it or not be a part of it based on information they're getting. So, it's pretty streamlined from the medical advisory group to our athletic training group and our docs, and then that goes right to me and our staff as soon as they get that info, and then I share it with the team in our team meetings when it applies to them directly. So we're trying to stay, right in the loop as close as we can be. And as you guys know, what we know today could be different tomorrow on this kind of stuff.
Appreciate it, Coach.
JB.
Hey, Coach. Appreciate you taking out the time this afternoon. I just wanted to get your thoughts on Peyton Wilson and the year that he had during his freshman season. Did he exceed expectations for what were expecting from him from his first year? And on top of that, what are you expecting of him in year two as far as his production and his leadership on that defense?
You mean last year when you say his freshman year? Because I was his sophomore year.
I'm sorry, last year.
Okay. Yeah. No, he exceeded probably what a lot of people thought would happen in his first year as a full-time starter. We expected him to have a great season. Obviously you can't predict how many tackles a guy's going to make, but did a phenomenal job as a guy in our defense making plays. And I think he improved throughout the year. He learned a lot from mistakes that you're going to make as a first-year starter. Excited to see his growth. I know that's one of the reasons he came back, and there was things he wanted to get better at before he became a professional. And it's been fun to see all the work he's put in, since his operations to get better and get back with us and compete.
Justin,
Coach, you've mentioned Corey Durden as a guy that you've been, waiting to see more of in fall camp because he was a late arrival this summer. What have you seen from him in this first week of fall camp? And just your thoughts on him.
Yeah, Corey's going to help us a lot, right now, trying to get him just used to how we do things. He's trying to get back in football shape. He didn't go through spring ball at Florida State, so he was rusty. He's working hard. He loves learning. He's coachable. I like that about him. He'll make mistakes and we can critique him and be constructive with him, and he wants to get better. He can play inside and outside in our scheme, so he brings a lot of versatility there, similar to Davin Van that way. A guy can move in and out of our packages. We're very excited he's here, and the next 23 days, I guess we have till we play a game, are going to be important for him. But I think he could have a major role on our front.
Matt Carter,
Yeah, Coach, what stood out about Bam Knight when you were evaluating him in high school, and how did his recruitment go?
He was a guy that could get to top speed quickly. Their offense, I know you guys have watched them, the wing T or double slot. He would get a lot of these end arounds and put his foot in the ground, get north and south, and just outrun people. He had home run speed. And then starting to get around him in his recruitment, he committed early to Duke, decided he wanted to reconsider that and started to come sit on our campus with us. And we spent a lot of time together. He came over here 7 or 8 times before he committed to us. He wanted to really see it. He wanted to, kind of see who we are as people. He's not a outspoken person, but he's a very observant person. And so, I think he came over here and spent 7 or 8 different times, either with me or with Coach Kitchings or with our strength coaches, obviously academics. And once he felt like all the things were answered, then he knew this was the right fit. And he's been a joy to coach.
You talked about wanting to improve his pass blocking and put that on film. From your perspective, what are some of the things you think for him to take that next step he needs to work on?
Well, I think, the NFL and the college ranks are similar now. Backs are not very often in the game, the whole game. At the pro level or the college level, there's a rotation now. I think backs need to show they can be an every down back, that you can be a guy that stays in there on 3rd down and does all those things that they have to do, that they can get out of the backfield and catch the football. So for him, he's done a great job as a runner. He's done a good job as a pass catcher. I know he wants to be better there. The pass protection is the last area for him to be a complete player all the time. And it's not for a lack of wanting contact. He's very physical. I think it's just technique things that make you a better pass protection guy. No different than what Icky's working on right now. He's trying to get better at pass pro. Those guys want to perfect their craft. So he's spending a lot of time on it with Coach Roper.
Thank you.
Jonas,
Coach, we've seen Devin place, important snaps the last couple of years. So I think people kind of have a good idea about him. We've seen Ben in a small sample size against Carolina, and then Aaron was here in the spring. But what kind of steps have those 2 guys, Ben and Aaron, taken since the spring? And for Ben, since he's been here, kind of steps has he taken?
Well, there's obviously a greater understanding of the system for both. Ben's changed his body in a good way. He's put on some good muscle to protect himself. I think him and Aaron are both very athletic guys that don't just throw the ball. They can run around and make some plays on their feet, as you saw in the spring game with Ben. I think the maturity part of it for Ben is the area of growth that he's making and still has a lot of room to grow there, as a leader, which is what that position is. He's really hard on himself and just learning how to kind of let the reins loose right there and relax a little bit and get to the next play. I really enjoy being around those 3 guys. They're serious about it. They encourage their teammates. They have good attitudes, and they're all different, but they're all the same in their competitive spirit. They're guys that really come out there to work hard.
Justin,
Coach, there was a video on the team's social media account of Philip Rivers answering, it looked like a question from Devin Leary. It looks like he was zooming into a team meeting this summer.
Yeah.
Can you talk about what his message to the team was and just what the response was from the team with, a bunch of guys that probably grew up seeing him play on Sunday since they were little kids?
Yeah, it's great. We try to get former players to come visit our team. And with COVID, we've had to do a few of them on Zoom. So it was great that Philip agreed to do that. It's really just expressing their love for the school, the program, talking about stories that they had from when they played here. And I think for our players to realize how much those guys loved their time here, I think when you're here, you're in it, like you're in the heat of it. You don't realize how special it is, like right in the middle of it. And then 10 years later, you look back on it's like the best time of my life. We all tell them that. But sometimes, as you guys know that are parents, when someone else tells them that, it makes sense. And so it's great having a guy like Philip that played 17 years in the NFL, talking about how much he loved his time here and his teammates here. And he played with Thunder Dan, and he played with Freddie Autry-Lindsey. And, the guys were able to ask him questions about what made him such a competitor, or what made him who he is, what kind of things in preparation does he do? If he had any advice for him, about his time here. So, it's just a great resource to have with guys like him and the others that have helped us to help these guys in their journey.
David, you want to finish this up?
Yeah, speaking of videos, are we going to be seeing you on TikTok more now?
That's funny. I was with one of our donors this summer, and does very well. And he asked me why I don't have a TikTok. And I'm like, be honest, I just don't have time for another social media thing. And so he started showing me all the stuff he's doing and how many people are paying attention to it in his business. And so I was with Annabelle at the ACC Media Days and our media team, and we talked about it. And so they got us a TikTok account. And I really leave it up to the young people around here to brainstorm on it. And I would assume we'll have some more things coming if Annabelle can get some things drummed up. We'll give her the credit for that last one. That was good, but
were those all your shoes and your boots as well?
No, the boots were mine. The Yeezys. Mercy is my recruiting director, our general manager, we call him, but he's a shoe freak. So those were all his, other than one pair. The one that say "one pack, one goal," those are mine. But yeah, it was good fun. Hopefully we can do some more things like that to get people laughing.
Cool. Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
Sounds like the pressure's on me, so I got to go come up with some TikTok ideas.
There you go.
All right.
Y'all have a good one, man.
Everybody.
Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Coach. Good seeing you again.
Dave, thanks,
See
Annabelle.
y'all. Take
Thanks,
care.
y'all.